So I think we can start. It's time to start. I'm excited we are in the second day of our 7-day extravaganza, 7-day workshop. And happy to see you all. So let me give you a little bit of information what we are going to do today, what's on the menu for us for today. So yesterday, and let me introduce myself for those who are joining us for the first time. Uh, my name is Katya Dmitrieva. I'm intuitive life coach and founder and one of the teachers in Intuitive Life Coaching Academy. And we have members of our academy, of our community here today, and you will be able to meet them and experience amazing coaching, the best coaching out there. So the first day we focused on our why, and we also had a very serious and honest conversation about changes that are happening in the world that will change a lot for everyone and for coaches as well. So if you didn't have a chance to listen or watch our yesterday's class, please, you will have it in replay. Watch it because there is a lot of important information for you to learn. So today we have only 1 hour and we have so many things we want to cover. We will start with a little bit of a lesson, something that you can learn today right away and apply and use in your everyday life and in your people helping practices. And then we will dive right into coaching. So we will be demonstrating to you what is intuitive life coaching in action. So we have students, teachers of the program joining us today. So they will be providing support and intuitive life coaching. So, but let me first start with very very quick important information about life coaching and intuitive life coaching. We will still have the whole week, more days to focus deeply on intuitive life coaching, learn more about intuition and coaching, but very quickly. So we are kind of all of us understand what is coaching and what coaching is not. And after that, we will dive into practice. So life coaching in general is often understood as goal-focused and solution-oriented. A client brings a challenge and the coach helps them find strategies and steps to move forward. That's valuable and that's a big part of any coaching, and also accountability is a big part of coaching. But it can sometimes stay on the surface. Intuitive life coaching goes much deeper. It's not just about solving problems. In fact, the solution is only a byproduct of this process. The true focus is on the person and not the problem. Their patterns, their inner world, their values, their what they say, what they didn't say, reading between the lines, using intuition as a great tool, their energy, unspoken truths. We dive into what they say, what they don't say, what they are, what they think they are versus what they really are. I call it being Sherlock Holmes, right? It's a deep dive into the person. That's how we can truly help people to make changes, to transform, to find themselves, and move forward powerfully in their lives in the world. And as intuitive coaches, we'll learn to listen beyond the words, read between the lines, and trust our inner guidance. We don't just guide someone toward quick fixes. It's not about fixes. We are not fixers. We help them connect with their own inner compass, their soul level wisdom, so that the results they create are lasting and aligned. And that's why I say intuitive life coaching is where soul meets strategy and innovation is born. It's not about giving answers or telling someone what to do. It's about holding space for them to awaken their own truth, break through their limiting beliefs, find their true answers, and create transformations from inside out. What coaching is not? It's not therapy. We don't diagnose or treat. It's not consulting. We don't give advice and solutions. It's not mentoring. We don't make them follow our path. And it's not just cheerleading. We go deeper than encouragement. So, just in a nutshell, a little bit about life coaching, because a lot of people consider themselves coaches without actually knowing what coaching is and coaching is not. And you know how I know that they know nothing about coaching? When they tell me, yeah, I give great advice, or I meet with people and they listen to what I say, and I share with them things that they need to do, and it helps them a lot. So when I hear the word advice, it tells me immediately that it's people are not professional coaches. And yes, it's true. You don't have to yet to be professional, to be, you can call yourself a coach without special training, but this time will end very soon. The coaching is going towards the direction of being more regulated. You can't call yourself a therapist without special training, right? The same thing will be with coaching. You won't be able to say, oh, I'm a coach because I give great advice. I just need to work on my business. So that's another thing that I hear a lot. And then people are upset and they drop this very fast because they don't reach any success. They think that they are not reaching success for other reasons. But the main reason is that they are not professional coaches, and they call themselves professional coaches. And all they think they need is to learn how to do marketing and sales. No, you can't call yourself a musician unless you learn how to play an instrument or sing or learn your notes, right? The same thing with coaching. It's a comprehensive modality, and intuitive life coaching is even more comprehensive and more deep and more complex and powerful. So now I'm inviting our wonderful teacher Ася to present on very important tool, the most important tool for coaches. So Ася, you're welcome to shine. Your time to shine.
Time to shine. Welcome, everybody. It's so awesome to be here. I love seeing the mix of people I know, people I'm just meeting today. And so I'm just going to quickly introduce myself. Like Katya said, my name is Asya, and I have been with OK, I want to say 3 years, maybe even a little longer. And I started as a student, and then I just kind of hung around, and then I became a teacher, and then I started working more. And so now I'm a teacher and one of the staff members here at Ilkate. And so, yes, I'm going to talk about listening and intuitive listening. And I love talking about this topic because, when Katya was talking earlier, she talked about how, sometimes coaches will say like, oh no, you people really listen to me. Like I give great advice. And really the person who needs to be doing the most listening is the coach. So we actually need to learn how to listen more than our clients need to listen to us. Listening is one of those things we do it all day, every day. And so it seems like a kind of weird thing to learn how to do. And yet it is so fundamental and so important. And it's, just the basic, it's one of the basic things we talk about it, one of the first things we talk about in our class. And it's something that as a coach, we always need to come back to it, because as we learn more skills, as we learn more techniques and tools, it can be exciting to be like, oh, let's try this or let's do this. And we always have to come back to listening. We always have to like remember, oh yes, first listen, like I love the say, like, you have two ears and one mouth, you should be listening at least double the amount of time. One of the hallmarks of a good coaching session is that you're talking about 20% of the time and the client is talking about 80% of the time. So we really want to focus on listening, beginning, middle, and end of in our coaching journeys and in a session. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my slides about listening. And so we're going to quickly just kind of go through the basics of listening, and then we're going to be able to put it into practice right away with like live coaching sessions here tonight. All right. So just a little bit about listening. As we've been talking about, listening is a coach's superpower. It's super, and the experience of being deeply listened to is profound in and of itself. Just having somebody really stop and hear you out completely and really take the time to try to get what you're saying is an experience that we don't typically experience in our day-to-day lives. And just by giving somebody that presence is transformational in and of itself. So listening, like the importance of real intuitive deep listening, cannot be understated or overstated, whatever it is. Okay, so the most important aspect of communication is not speaking, but listening. Having someone really listen to what you're saying is a profound experience. And this is, what I was just saying. And then one of the things, it's kind of like our core beliefs as coaches is that we believe that everyone has the answers within them. So it's not that we have the answers and people are coming to us for those answers, but everybody has answers within them. And so our job is to really try to hear and make the connections that people already have with them, but they haven't been able to connect for themselves. Really listen, really hear, and through that deep listening, bring out those answers within people. Deep listening can help people understand themselves better so they can access those answers. Exactly. All right. So there are 3 levels of listening in the way that we teach it here. So first I'm going to give you the example, and then we're going to talk about what the 3 levels of listening are. So the first level of listening, we have this example here. So we have Jane here, and she says, I had the toughest time trying to get myself up half an hour earlier to take my morning walk. And we have Beth here, who, let's hope this is not a coach, this is just a friend. You have to force yourself. Whenever I have something to do that I don't want to do, I just make myself do it. So really quickly, if you could just drop in the comments, like, what kind of response is this? Or maybe better, like, if you got this kind of response, how would you feel? What would it bring up in you? Just real quickly. Shut down. Yeah, they shut me down. Mm-hmm.
They make me feel rebellious because they're telling me what to do.
Totally. I mean, I think one of the reasons coaching resonates with me so well is I do not like to be told what to do. So if somebody tells me what to do, I'm just like, okay, well, let me just do the opposite, even if what you said is actually really good. So, yeah, so I have, they shut me down, dismissed, judged, invalidated, shame, unsolicited advice, annoyed, Beth didn't hear me and made it about her. Absolutely. Feel some type of way. Like it just makes you feel some type of way. And talking about themselves when the client should be the focus, made it about themselves. Yes, absolutely. So you all hit the nail on the head. Beth just immediately just was in her own experience. So let's just go ahead and talk about. So this is subjective listening. And this is when the listener is focusing on their own inner voice. So they're focusing on their own experience, thinking about their own selves, only considering their thoughts, feelings, opinions, and their conclusions. And it's based on the agenda and needs of the listener. And this type of listening should only be done by the client in a coaching session. Of course, we're human beings, and sometimes, something will happen and we might get caught up in our own thoughts. And it's our job to notice that and come right back to the client. Because not only is it not about you as a coach, also, as many of you pointed out, when we give advice, it's unlikely that our friend here, what her name was, I don't even remember her name, Sarah, like something, she might be telling herself that, oh, I should just force myself. But obviously that wasn't working. So somebody else telling her that isn't helpful. All right. So here's our next scenario. Jane, okay, not Sarah, but Jane. I had the toughest time trying to get myself up half hour earlier to take my morning walk. John, you had a struggle, but you did it. Congratulations. All right, so quickly, what does this response bring up in you? Rushed, okay, so rushed, validation, uplifting, superficial, validated me, supportive. Yeah, so, this is exactly the kind of response that feels supportive but glossed over. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's like, okay, great, yay, congratulations, you did it. But at the same time, it's like, it depends, absolutely. It depends on the tone of the person, but it's not really giving space to like what is actually being said. It's just, it's acknowledging, but it's not, it is kind of somewhat dismissive, as you all say. Does not feel like authentic support. Right. And it could be from the person, like, I really don't want to touch the deep feelings there. That can make me uncomfortable as the person listening. So I'm just going to focus on the good here. And, I think it's really important sometimes to focus on positive, but it also can be, I feel shut up. That's, very deep. But it's also important to hold space for the difficulty, because that's where a lot of the juice lies, right? That's where a lot of the energy for transformation actually lies. So yes, I love that. Does not feel like authentic support. Cheerleader, not coach. Yeah, valid. All right, so this is objective listening. And this is kind of like active listening. So last comment, it feels like most people who think they are being supportive. Yes, absolutely. All right, so this is what we call active listening a lot of times, objective listening, where it does revolve around the speaker. We are focusing on what the person who's talking is saying. The listener pays attention to what is being said and expressions, emotions, values, and what isn't being said. So there is some like trying to read between the lines, trying to understand, what's going on here. Listener also pays attention to the impact of their responses. So, if as a coach I am engaged in this kind of listening, I will also notice, oh, I said this thing. What's the response that I'm getting? This type of listening is good, but it can still miss the heart of the matter. So it still, as some people said, stays pretty superficial. But you are hearing what the person said, and you are responding appropriately to what is being said to a degree. All right, final example here. So Jane says, I had the toughest time trying to get myself half an hour earlier to take my morning walk. And Sarah, after feeling without much thinking, says, it sounds like you really want to do this, but are so exhausted that you find it very challenging and maybe even a little frustrating. So what does that bring up? What does that response bring up?
It labels feelings, but I would check it out
Hmm.
because it almost like she was not wanting to be precise. She doesn't understand how to be more precise about why she's doing it. And she says it has a tough time. It's kind of vague.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Jane is kind of being vague, right? And Sarah is acknowledging that, like, okay, this is what it sounds like. It feels like, wait, no, what nice but not helpful, honest and acceptance, feeling seen and understood, self-reflection, giving answers. Joe, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, just to tag on to what Jan said, I think what Sarah's doing is testing the water.
Mm,
And she's using her intuition to, maybe putting this out there. I might add one line, what do you think?
mm-hmm.
Just to get Jane to respond to that. And maybe Sarah's completely off base, but that's the start of a conversation.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. So I always find it interesting with this because this is the example of like intuitive listening, and I get very different responses of like some people are like, "Oh, that sounds really nice," and some people are like, "I don't like that actually at all." Um, so Heather says it starts off acknowledging but made an assumption. So I think that what you said, Joe, really is key to our work as a coach. Is so what Sarah did here is she tried to feel into what was going on deeper. So it sounds like you really want to do this. Like I'm hearing that you want to. And I think, I know for me, oftentimes, if I don't do something that I say I want to do, I question myself. Is this something I even want? Like, what is, what's, whatever. I can go down my rabbit holes. And so to hear, like, you really do want this. This is something that's important to you, but also that it makes sense. Like there's some acknowledgement and validation here. It makes sense that it's challenging because, you're tired and maybe that brings up frustration. And then to add on to that, like, what do you think? Or does that resonate with you? Because then Jane would have the opportunity to say, no, that's not exactly it. Maybe it's this other thing that's going on. Or maybe she's like, oh, yeah, that actually is really exactly what's going on. It is important to me, but I'm exhausted. And then the conversation can open up to like, whatever it is, like, okay, what does rest look like? And maybe that's what we need to be talking about. Or what else is, what are priorities like, or what are boundaries like? The conversation can go much deeper than just maybe looking at your schedule and trying to, make sure that you block off time for yourself and you protect these times just like you would another meeting. Like you can go much deeper. Joe says Sarah is using her gut and looking for a response from Jane. I would ask the question, what does this mean to you, or what do you think about that? Yes, absolutely. It is a bit risky. And I love that. Thank you for adding that, because that's part of our work as intuitive coaches is being willing to take risks and being willing to be wrong and knowing that that's okay, because it opens up the door to the deeper exploration that we want to get to. And even if you're wrong, you can get there faster by taking the risk. Too much labeling. Yeah. And valid. And this, this is just an example, and maybe it's not the perfect example, but it is trying to get at what's deeper. So intuitive listening. It's when the listener pays attention to the tone of voice, energy level, feelings, and etc. So all of the things in active listening, but you're also paying attention to what's not being said, reading between the lines, and trying to see deeper, listening to everything and intuitively connecting to the real message. And we call it listening at 360. And so it's so funny, actually, recently I ran into one of these at my sister's house. She had a book. And if you remember those pictures back, I think in the 90s, they were super popular, where it was like, something very abstract, colors, swirls, something, or maybe like a field of flowers or something very repetitive. And then you kind of look at it and it just looks like what it is. And then if you like stare at, like, kind of unfocus your eyes and stare at it for long enough, like a 3D image emerges. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? I don't know. Anyway, there's this thing. And I often think of that as similar to what we're doing. As coaches, we're trying to hear what's being said. We want to hear, the words. But what we're trying to do is like actually take a step back and try to listen in this 360 way so that a picture starts to emerge, so we can see connections, so we can see kind of more deeply what's going on, and so we can be open to the intuitive messages that we're getting about what's really happening here, and help our clients to discover these things. Okay, so I see, just quickly checking the chat, I would ask, well, are there any obstacles that are getting in the way of you waking up a half an hour earlier? Yep, that's a valid question. Then go from there. They're called stereograms. Yes, thank you. But yeah, and the thing is, the reason why we wouldn't just jump into that question, like, well, what are the obstacles getting in the way of you waking up half an hour earlier, is because we want to make sure that the person feels heard first. Like, I hear you, I see you. This makes sense that you're feeling that way. Anybody in your situation would be feeling this way. You're not crazy for not being able to wake up half an hour earlier. And I see that this is important to you. And then we can talk about, okay, well, what are the obstacles? But first, we want to make that connection. Yes, okay. And this is the most powerful form of listening. All right, so benefits of intuitive listening: it deepens self-awareness and enriches connections with others. It strengthens your connection with your inner self and can lead to making clearer, more aligned decisions. It enhances your ability to support others. And I would say these are both for ourselves as coaches and for our clients. Enhances your ability to support others effectively. And it leads to more authentic relationships, wiser decision-making, and a life that feels more aligned with your true self and purpose. So what's the process here? What's the process of listening? First, we listen. Just as we talked about, we listen, we try to get the information, we try to see what's going on more deeply. We're open up, we open ourselves to, if there's any intuitive or spiritual messages that are coming through for us, for this person. We kind of take in everything without thinking of a response. So we want to really be open to and be present to what's going on in the moment without thinking, okay, what's the question that I need to ask? This can take practice, especially for new coaches, when it's like, I need to have a question after they're done talking. I need to know what to say. It's going to be awkward if I have no idea what to say. So we do we do our best to take a deep breath into that moment and just be present without thinking of a response. And then when they're done talking, we try to reflect back what's said. We don't want to repeat word for word. We want to try to reflect what we really heard as we were intuitively listening. We want to say, okay, this is what I heard, or so what you're saying is, and then you reflect, similar to what we did here. Like, so the example here, we try to connect the feelings. And, as Joe pointed out, even if we're wrong, we try to put words to what is not being said. And that's when people can say, like, oh, no, that's not exactly it. And they can discover what's really going on. Or they can say, wow, yes, exactly, that's it. You nailed it. I didn't think of it that way, but you articulated it so well. And then check in. Does this resonate with you? Is that correct? What do you think? Then you give space. And with this kind of listening, often what you find is people, even without asking, people will often start elaborating, like, oh yeah, this and this and this, and they'll go deeper into the story themselves. So you give space for that, and then you repeat it. And when they're done, that's when the rest of the coaching conversation can go on. All right. So now we are going to listen up. We're going to practice, but before that, I'm going to go ahead and stop my share. Does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts? Everybody good? Okay. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Thank you. Thank you. I loved the interaction. I loved all of that. Are we ready to do some listening? Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm gonna hand the baton back over to Katya to, oh no, not me. I mean, not you, me. Okay, all right, so then let's do some listening. Let's do some coaching. Let's see what it says in the hidden history of magic eye.
I thought you wanted to like maybe demonstrate
Okay, yeah, I just don't know how much time we
Yeah, like
have
a little bit, and then we can
do
jump
this.
into coaching. Mhm.
All right, sorry, yeah. All right, thank you, Jen. That's what I was talking about. Okay. All right. So yes, let's do a little demonstration. Let's practice, and then we can jump into the coaching. So is somebody willing to be our victim, as Katya says? Is somebody willing to be somebody? So if you want to just share something, it doesn't have to be something really deep, or it could be like your trip to the coffee shop this morning. It could be, something, an interaction that okay. Yes, Rachel.
Yes. So, okay. I am having trouble getting motivated to complete a project.
Okay. Okay. So that's, yeah.
That's I can elaborate if you want.
Well, well,
I
so
don't know if you just wanted the topic.
Yeah. No, what I'm hearing is that there's something that you want to do, that it seems important to you, but there's some part of you that is struggling to do it and not wanting to do it. And there's like this tension happening, and it sounds frustrating. What do you think?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Thank you. But yeah, no, I find myself procrastinating. I think I get caught up in the idea that it needs to be perfect. I mean, I am pitching it, hoping to, get, get have someone pay me for these services. So I want them to seem really worth it. And I think I'm having trouble finding what perfect is supposed to look like and coming up with all of those answers on my own.
Yeah, thank you for that. And can I just tell you what I heard?
Absolutely.
So what I heard was you saying, I'm struggling with perfectionism, but then you told me but it actually does need to be perfect. And then, and then it's like the exploration of well, what does perfect actually mean in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
Does that resonate?
Yes. Very much so.
So it makes sense if you're this has to be absolutely perfect. Perfection seems, it's understandable that it's a daunting task.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's also the, potential to work with, this collaborator and, hopefully, he may say, oh, we need to tweak it for this audience or this. There's still a couple of details that aren't in stone, which definitely does not help with, completing the project with the ambiguity. But, yeah, no, I still find myself, having trouble sitting down, opening my computer, and, even typing a few words.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm curious at this point, does anybody else want to chime in? What did you hear? Did anybody else
I
hear?
have a question.
Okay.
I would want to ask her, Rachel, what is, how do you define perfection in this case?
Great question, Hyatt. Thank you so much. I would say in this instance, it would have to look really aesthetically pleasing, really simple and streamlined, but clear that research has been done, and professional. But I think the aspect of what does it look like to me, I'm now thinking okay, now I gotta put this on Canva. So I think the clarity is helpful, but now I'm thinking, oh no, there's more.
And that's why I wanted to know, because you know, if you're a visual person, then you could probably start making a map
Mhm.
with it and just play around with that, just to start visualizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of playing around and, you know, kind of like drawing just for getting ideas out there. Like I have a basic, yeah, I have some things put together, but definitely not a full pitch.
Yeah, so I want to jump in. Thank you so much, Hayat. And I think that was a really good question. And it's also kind of just want to point out, you kind of jumped into problem solving. You jumped from like, okay, right now we're focusing on like listening to make sure that Rachel is being heard and like what's going on. And we're trying to dig underneath like the issue here. And I think it's a great question, like, well, what does perfect look like for you? And can we, but like, can, you know, and like just exploring perfectionism, but it begins with, let's just first just really hear and try to dig underneath what even the issue is here. And so we did identify perfectionism as part of it, but I feel like there's more digging before we jump into like, let's figure out solutions. Yes, Lisa.
Mhm.
Would say, you know, like it is very hard to begin a new project, especially if the only acceptable goal is perfection. Are there other things that are preventing you from even beginning? And can you tell me about what those might be?
So the idea of this exercise was just for us to demonstrate the power of listening. So the idea was not to come up with solutions or to go, like, we want to show our friends, our guests, people who are joining us this week, uh, the power of coaching through the most important and the most transformational tool, intuitive listening. And of course, later on, you go into like what we will probably demonstrate in a minute. We will that we will be able to go deeper into the coaching session. But the idea is about listening. So then, when the person is being heard, being listened to, it changes the way people feel about themselves, and people are able to open up more and have a powerful transformation. So transformation is not in solutions, transformation is not in advice giving. The transformation is in ability to listen to yourself first, to understand yourself deeper. And listening and intuitive listening is a great tool for that. So thank you so much. I always love when I see teachers, and so I'm, you know, ready to listen more. But I think it would be beneficial if we demonstrate for you a little bit of intuitive coaching today in the session. So we have time for one person to bring up something that they would like to have to be a coachee in the intuitive life coaching session. Who would be and our coaches of Intuitive Life Coaching Academy will be assisting you and supporting you in that. So who has something they would like help with, or they would like clarity on, or they would like to be coached?
I have a question.
Sure.
When I missed the session yesterday, unfortunately, so I'm just chiming in today. When you ask what the question you just asked, are you specifically referring to a situation that someone's going through, or are you?
Absolutely. You can present any situation, or you trying to make a decision, or you are stuck in something, or you have fears, limit, anything that you would like help with.
Okay. Thank you. I gotta think about it. Mine might be too deep. I'll let someone else go right
That's okay. Let's do it. Let's do
No.
it. Let's do it. Maybe we will help you. You know, actually, in sessions like that, with so many brilliant coaches, you usually get one coach. And
Yeah.
here you have quite a few really good coaches. So that could really help you with something.
I struggle a lot with purpose.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes in daily life I am consistently struggling with and fighting with my own head internally, right? And subconsciously, but also just everything that goes on in the world. And I'm focused on this, that, and this and that, and I can't tap in to really what I'm supposed to do out here. But I know there's so much more for me, and I know I'm needed in so many other places than what I'm just doing. And it hurts me, it bothers me, because we only have so much life, right? And so I'm struggling with just trying to figure out how I can make it a great one, and know that I did everything I was supposed to do in this lifetime, and that I didn't shortchange myself at all, because I do struggle. I always say it's me versus me. No one else is stopping me from anything I'm doing but me on the what ifs. And like the other lady said previously about perfectionism, I'm very meticulous, and I'm a perfectionist with what I do. And if it's not perfect in my eyes, then I gotta hold off. And so I feel like I struggle with that daily. Is that
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Tiona. Who wants to start? I'm asking Alcade coaches. Who wants to start coaching, helping, supporting Tiona? Lisa.
And Sana, if I may I share what I felt and what I heard?
Yeah.
Okay, I felt both a bond and just the incredible loneliness of having perfection stand between you and purpose and achieving. And I do want to thank you for being so open and honest about that. That is sometimes hard to say.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you.
But
Mhm.
well, I don't know if you were looking for me to be like, yeah, you're right, or you're just expressing that. I'm sorry.
What do you feel called to do? So,
You're right.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like if I could, I would give you a hug. That's what I would like to do right
Don't
now.
do that.
But
So I'll cry. Okay. Thank you.
okay, no crying. Thank you for letting me share.
Who would like? Jen.
Yeah, I wrote something on there, but I really want you to think about it, that anybody who's looking for perfection is going to have a certain amount of paralysis at the hugeness of the problem, which then eventually makes them procrastinate because it just looks so big and they're all tied. And if you're really perfectionistic, then putting things off is not part of perfectionism, right?
Okay, thank you. Heather, any questions? Let's do some coaching. Heather, you are muted.
Sorry. Hi, if I may share what I think I heard, that you're evaluating and taking stock of your life, what's going on, reevaluating. And that seems, if I may share, it feels like that's the primary purpose. But then the unknown and the perfectionism, which may or may not be a bigger issue. And I do acknowledge that we're in a really weird space globally and nationally. And it's always, it's understandable. it is quite understandable and quite human to be where you're at. And I honestly don't think that you're alone in that. That's what I think I heard. So the question now I have for you is, of the two that I thought I heard, first, if I was right in my assessment, and number two, which of the two issues you would like to tackle first? Would it be the reevaluation, the sort of the reevaluation of your life and purpose and how it fits in what's happening in today's world, or is it the perfectionism that you feel is interrupting your progress?
I believe that it's the purpose that has me stuck more than anything. I'm trying to listen without like putting my feelings on to everything that you guys are saying, because I want to make sure that I'm really focused on what you guys are saying to me. But I think part of when I was mentioned that with perfection, sometimes there's procrastination. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so true, because I do stall on things because I'm like, oh, if it can't be perfect, I can't do it. I can't do it till I'm ready. And so any event for my purpose, I think, is bigger than that, because I'm getting older and I'm like, this can't be what my life is for. I know that I'm here for a better reason than just surviving and pain. And so I think that's what gets me, it stops me in my tracks.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? What has allowed you or caused you or opened this door about purpose? When did that first start?
Oh, okay, on the phone with people I don't know.
So you're with family, Mama. You're with family.
Finding my father deceased. Five years ago. And it flipped my world upside down. And so he worked his whole life and he did everything he could to raise his daughter as a single father. And when he passed away, it made me sit back as I was cleaning his house out and everything, and it just made me think, it can't be life. There's more to this life than working hard and struggling and then dying. And so that happened 5 years ago. I'm sorry.
First, don't apologize. I thank you very much for being vulnerable in this space that is not comfortable for you, because we're, even though we're strangers, we have a deeper connection. And losing a parent, losing a father, losing anybody that's very close to you, has a tendency to bring out these thoughts and reevaluation. So this was 5 years ago. What, if anything, tell me a little bit more in the 5 years since that has happened. I know that was a triggering event. What has been your progress with your purpose finding?
I haven't. I haven't, and that's why I'm still like, I keep, like some of my close friends or people that I'm close with, I'll be like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, what? This isn't it. Like, struggling all the time and hurting her. This is not life. This is not how life should be. And there's so much I want to do out here in this world, and I can't figure out how to tap into it and do it. And I don't know if it's fear of rejection. I don't really know. I'm a very open person. I'm a very whatever, I'm gonna do what I do. I don't need validation from anyone, but like I said, it's my head and it's me versus me, and man, it's powerful. It's powerful because I stop my own self, and I don't know how to start, and I don't know how to tap into the potential that I know I have.
I hear you. I hear you. What brings you the most joy and the most passion that makes you bound out in the bed in the morning? What can you list one or two things?
Being a mom, hands down, my greatest passion. And then I just want to help people. Like, there's so many kids out here who are abused and need to know that they're loved and cared for. And it's what I would do if I could.
So what I
Heather,
think of her,
great questions. We have quite a few. You did an amazing job, Heather. So good.
thank you.
Very good. It's beautiful. Beautiful. And guys, if you feel connected with our coaches, please go ahead, connect with them. And this been already a great session with Heather. So thank you so much. So Joe, I think you were
I think
next.
somebody was ahead of me.
Huh?
Was there somebody ahead of me?
Okay,
No?
let's go with Joe. I
Okay.
did
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, we have a traffic.
Yeah, that's okay.
Exactly. Thank you so much for sharing. It's an amazing story to tell. I can tell you're an amazing person. Um, I, I'm interested in the relationship with your father, and the question I have is, what do you think that you're gaining by being in this place? And kind of think about, how your father has sort of affected your life. What do you gain by trying to be perfect and, not being able to move on? Because there's something that's obviously holding you here.
Are you wanting me to answer that, or are you just wanting me to think about that? And just kind of.
I'd like you to answer it, but I want you to think about it first. You can take as much time as you want.
Well, my relationship with my father was great. Like, that was my rock. That's who raised me. I wasn't raised by my mom. And I think losing that rock kind of made me, a part of me, lose who I was, because I knew he would always be there. And then when he wasn't, it was like, oh, okay. So I'm alone. And I don't mean alone, but that's probably what it was that kind of changed.
And what about the gain? So something's holding you in this place. What are you gaining to keep you in this place? And then the flip side I'm going to ask is, what is the cost for being here?
I'm not gaining anything. I'm not gaining anything from sitting still like I am mentally. And the cost.
Are you sure? I mean, does it mean maybe it makes you feel safer to not move forward, or?
Joe, I'm so sorry, quickly. Here is a great moment, teaching moment where you can explain a little bit what you mean
Okay.
Because the first reaction of any person would be like, I'm not gaining anything. Like,
Right.
to explain a little bit.
It's a twist. And I practice and try to ask that, and maybe there's a better way to ask it that I need to work on. But there is a reason why you're stuck. And you know the reason. You just have to kind of think it through. And when I use the word gain, I don't mean that necessarily that this is a good place for you to be, that you're benefiting it, and why change. But there's something, your body, your mind is saying, hey, I just can't move forward. There's something that's safe about where I am, but I also know there's a cost. And that cost, hopefully you'll realize the cost is greater than the gain. And that's why, maybe that'll help motivate you to move to a different space. That's all it is. I mean, I'm making it more complicated than it really needs to be, but that's the idea. And I would take as much time as you need to answer it, even if it means silence for 30 seconds or a minute, and come up with whatever makes sense to you. I don't know if that helps, but
No, that does. Thank you. It gives me something to think about, and I don't know that I can answer it right now, but it definitely allows me to see in it kind of a different perspective the way you said that.
Mhm.
And I don't think I've taken the time or had the ability to really think that way.
yeah.
And so I like that.
Well, how about the easier one is the cost? Maybe that's easier to answer. What does it cost you?
It's costing me a lot.
Like what?
Time. I don't like wasting time, and I feel like I'm losing time.
Interesting. Time. I was guessing more about your relationships and your family. So tell me more about the time piece.
Well, just with losing my dad unexpectedly and not having forever like I thought I would,
Mhm.
it's made me realize, that we don't have forever, and
Mm.
we don't go backwards in time, we only go forward, and I either got to get going or I'm gonna lose out. And so I don't like wasting time. We never know when we won't have it. And I want to utilize it the best way I can in this lifetime and on this journey I have now that I'm on.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, certainly abandonment and loss that you're feeling can make you feel like that you're not going to be around forever, and there are people who depend on you and you depend on yourself. That's perfectly reasonable. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
I'll hand it off, Katya.
Anna, yeah, so finishing.
Thank you. Hi, Tiana. First of all, thank you so much for sharing and being so vulnerable in front of us. And sorry for the loss of your father, that as you share that great father figure you had. If I may, if you allow me to ask you, when have you felt before that you actually had was living your life with purpose? When was that, and what was it?
Um, 2019. So my dad passed away in 2020, and I was just starting. I was in a bad relationship years prior to that. But I had lost part of me and who I was, and I got back. I started Tiana that people knew was smiling and bubbly or whatever. It came back, and then my dad died, and then it just whoosh. So probably 2019 was when I started coming. And I can't really say that I found my purpose then, but I was starting to live again. I was starting to like, okay, I want to go outside. I'm not depressed, or
How does leaving, how did that look like? What were you doing?
Spending time with my friends, going out. I don't want to say going out. I'm not a going out person, but spending time with them, whether at their house, having girls' nights, going to dinner, things like that, that I enjoy doing. Just laughing, having fun, living in the moment, and enjoying it.
Did you recognize that you were finding some meaning in your life, not exactly purpose?
Yeah.
But do you recall back then thinking about what your purpose was gonna be?
No, I don't. I don't think I came to this thought process until my dad passed, and I don't know why or what, other than forever isn't promised. The reality really hit, and it was like, I have to know my purpose. It's got to be
Mhm.
more than just this.
Yeah, that you phrased this loss very well, and it's wonderful that you want to find meaning in your life. Your face was lighted up when you share that you ended up with a relationship that wasn't good in your life, and you started seeing friends and enjoying life more. That seemed to give you um, happiness and a sense of finding who you really were at that time. Would you consider that be the first step? Do you do any of those activities now?
Anna,
Oh,
open-ended. All your questions are close-ended. Let's do something open-ended. Great questions, make them open-ended. Great question. Just open it a little bit. Remember how we say, make them work. You
yes,
do
yes.
all the work for Tiona. So open-end question.
Okay, I got so
You can offer it as an observation. You can say, oh, may I share with you my observation? I
that's right.
see that
That's
you
right.
see a big connection between like happiness, meaning, and purpose. What can you tell
Mhm.
me about that?
Okay, well, thank you. That was great.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So I see what you are trying. It's a great, you're taking to a great place. It's just in this way. Yeah.
Okay.
Tiona, to
Tian,
you.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah, so what we're trying to see the connection, what we see, and tell us how, whether it resonates with you, that there is a connection between you living in the moment, being happy, having meaning, having social life, and purpose.
And that's a question to me.
Uh-huh. How does it rest? Because that's what we are observing from what you shared with us so far.
Um, I have to be really honest. I am listening to everything you guys are saying, but in the back of my head, all I keep thinking about is I'm wasting people's time and other people want to talk and share stuff. And so I'm not tapping in as much as I want to, because I want this to be an opportunity for everyone.
No, no, no. It's like I said it at the beginning. It's like we just coaching one person today. So it's all you, all for you.
Okay. Well, thank you.
It's your time.
Um, I'm trying to, okay, can you say that again? Oh, so I can.
Yeah, like
I
Anna,
I
go
can,
ahead.
yeah. Tiona, I saw your face that light up when you were sharing about um that moment when between ending a relationship and before your father pass it. If I may share my insight, is that okay?
Yeah.
What was that connection that you felt in that moment when you were spending time with friends and enjoying that period of time? What is, are you well, that's what we didn't want to say. How do you find that connection between that period of time? What do you think was different?
I'm very stubborn. And I'm very, this is how it is, this is how I'm, whatever. And I think the difference was these friends stuck around. And they even had a session with me. They did like an intervention with me at one point. They're like, we know you push people away because you don't want to be a burden to them. You feel like you're a burden. And I do. I push people away a lot because I'm like, they don't really care. And they're like, but we're not going anywhere. And they didn't. They stuck around, and that opened my eyes. Like, wow, there are people who really do love me out here. And this whole time I'm thinking nobody cares. And so I think that, I don't know if it gave me purpose, but it made me feel something probably that I haven't really felt with other friendships or connections, because they weren't that. It doesn't mean they didn't care or love me with all they had. It just means I didn't recognize it and I pushed them away. But these ones didn't let me. They still to this day won't let me. I try.
Tiona, may I share my intuitive observation with you? Great job, Anna. Great exploration. It seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it's literally my intuitive observation, that at some point you lost hope for humanity. You lost hope for people's goodness and at that moment when you were struggling, you struggled and you felt like that no one cares, you saw that your friends really cared about you. They stood by you even when you tried to push them away. And it gave you such an incredible energy and realization that there are other people on this planet like you who also losing their hope for love, for human connection, for people really caring. And there was a moment that you felt like you can reciprocate, you can do something similar to those people who are losing hope.
Yeah.
And that's the connection with purpose. That's the connection with purpose. When you lost your hope, when you were, feeling like, yeah, nothing good, then your friends showed you very different. And then you're like, okay, there must be, and that's an intuitive nurturer, caregiver, empath, person who gives their word came out of you and said, I want to help others.
I think, well, that and somewhere too, and I've just learned this over the last few years as well, is that, so being raised by my father, only my mom wasn't in my life. And so I know now, but I didn't know then, one of my younger years, that I do have some abandonment issues. And then so with that, not having a mother figure as a girl, but then also then losing my father, I just felt completely abandoned. Like, okay, that's great, you know. And I think I still struggle too with abandonment in general with people. They kind of they're not consistent with their communication, and I'm like, oh, they don't want to talk anymore. They're done. And so I move out of their way, and then they're like, why aren't you talking? I'm like, oh, I didn't want to be a bother. And so I'm very, very cutthroat. It's really black and white with me. We're either all in or we're not. And I'm aware of that. But that probably plays a big role in everything too.
It is your protection mechanism. It's your protection mechanism to deal with pain and rejection and abandonment. And you are a very proud person. You are not going to beg. And in a way, even though it brings you pain and even though it isolates you, at the same time, it also speaks volumes about you, that even in pain, even in isolation, even when you want to have that connection with people, you still have a lot of pride and poise and in you, that you are not playing a victim, that you are not playing a beggar. So in a way, it speaks that you are a very strong and very powerful person.
Thank you.
Yes, and see first of all, Tiona, thank you so much. Asia or Emily, would you like to close it off? Anything you want to say, like as a to complete this conversation with Tiona, to say thank you to her?
Absolutely. Tiana, thank you so much for being vulnerable with all of us here tonight and sharing and allowing yourself to be vulnerable. It was great practice for all of our students, but I also hope that you got something special out of it as well, just to be able to kind of voice these feelings that you've been harboring for a while. And I just hope that you leave feeling a little lighter and a little more supported.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, and Tiona's awareness about herself, it's huge. Awareness is, yeah, and that's the difference between conventional coaching. Like a person comes, I want to work on my purpose, and we were like, okay, let's create a list of things that could be your purpose, right? Could you, and a very different approach in intuitive life coaching. The next steps for us in this conversation, of course, would be exploring abandonment, would be exploring like this wounds and traumas that you are acting out of, and that's why you retrieve, or that's why you um, go away. And yeah, so that would be our focus, going deeper into that. So this is the difference. One coaching approach would be action steps and goals and objectives, and and the other one is okay, it's purpose, but there are other things, deeper things. We're going into the source. We're going into mm, the um, the real why, right? Like why people are experiencing that, why people are doing what they are doing, and how to change that and shift. So thank you so much. So tomorrow we are going to have a lot of interesting things and fun and more learning and more practice. I hope our life coaches will join us too, so maybe we can continue some of the practice, and we can work with limiting beliefs a little bit tomorrow and practice coaching limiting beliefs. So Let's go around and finish our class today with a word and either take away, and for our students, and if they can share like one word or two words of their experience being in the academy and being part of our community, if you feel called to do that, so will be appreciated. Thank you so much. So Lisa, let's start with you.
Oh, I was feeling very awestruck with the openness that, so I'm in awe. Yeah. And I'm always amazed with the openness that this community brings, and having people join us tonight was just an extra reinforcer of that connection. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lisa. And great coaching. Asa, great teaching.
So, I guess my word is connection. And my takeaway is just that, whenever there are these kinds of situations where one person is sharing, it's always surprising just how connecting it is and how much resonance there is. Like, I know I felt like a lot of resonance just in hearing Tiana's share, and I saw that in the comments. There were more people as well that felt that. So, we are all very unique, and yet there's threads that connect all of us. So, connection.
Thank you so much. And Tiana, I want to tell you, we see you, we hear you, you matter.
Thank you.
And you are enough. Thank you. Oksana.
Thank you, and everyone else who helped and just listened. I really appreciate it.
My word is support.
Yes, thank you so much. Demaris.
I'll say my word is community, and thank you for being open and sharing with the community here. And it's amazing how much you learn from each other just listening. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Demaris. Monique.
That we are in this thing called life together.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. Jan.
Hi, my name is Jan. I'm in the G12 class that's currently going on right now, and I love it. I'm a clinical psychologist, but I'm learning so much about myself and about how to handle things differently with clients. So it's really been helpful. And my words would be, and I still have two because I choose one, but it would be internal therapy. People kept saying, we're not doing therapy. We are on ourselves so that we can negotiate so that they can do less, listening and more talking about their own self.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it matters that therapy is going on, but it's not the way we traditionally think of it. But it is happening inside of us. We're figuring out, talking, gee, it sounds like she's sad. Gee, and I would be sad too. I wonder if it's anything to do with her parents or what. I mean, but those are all things I'm doing to me, not to the client. Just curious to learn more about them and see if I can get them to talk about it or a little bit, or at least start observing that, or if it's true. And I can always ask them if they're comfortable with it, right? So anyway, that's a lot of work for one word. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Joe.
My word is mindfulness.
Thank you. Mohammed. If you can unmute yourself. You are muted. Okay, if you can unmute yourself. So, Anna.
I would say my word is inspire. And Tiana, I really like you really inspire me. And I invite you to join us whenever you possible for you. Like you may not find the purpose right away, but you will definitely find hope.
Well, thank you so much. And Anna, great coaching. And Joe, great coaching. Great job. Emily.
I think my word tonight is awareness. And I put this in the chat, Tiana, but I think the way that you're so aware of yourself and your emotions and the way that you make decisions because of the things you've been through is really, really beautiful. I think many people who have walked similar paths opt for more of a victim mentality, and that keeps them very stuck. So I just want to really uplift you by saying that this mentality you have of being aware, of knowing where you need to grow and where you need to improve and not blaming the world, right? You're just aware. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing with us. And I really do hope we see you again. It's been a real pleasure to have you here tonight.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Heather, great
Hi.
coaching.
Thank you. I think my word is belonging. So I am currently in the G12 class that's going. I am learning so much about myself and how to reach out and connect with people better. And it's in that connection, I don't feel alone. I think this is a wonderful space to be. And Tana, I admire your courage in being vulnerable. I think if more people did that, we would just see how more alike we are than we are different. This is a good space to either get or receive help or learn how to help, maybe help you clarify your purpose. So hope to see you throughout the week, and to anybody else who's not shared but they're listening, same applies.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you. Matt.
Awareness by listening.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Tiona, you, your word. Just as in case you are muted. Yeah, now
I'm just gonna say peace, and it's only because I feel at peace right now from this, and it's kind of warmed my heart in a way that I didn't think was possible. And so that's my word.
Thank you so much. And thank you again. Rachel.
My word or my phrase is self-compassion.
Beautiful. Yeah. Kevin.
Hi, I am, my word is totally blank. I just entered the room and it was not but 3 minutes ago. I did not realize I completed the registration process, and it showed up on my text a while ago. So I just hit the link and there I am. I have no idea what went on. And so my word is totally clueless. That's my word.
You will be able to watch the replays. So once you register, so you will be able to watch yesterday. Tiona, by the way, also yesterday's class, and you can watch it in replay.
Okay,
And so
I will put a link in the chat, and Kevin, join us tomorrow by the same link.
And what time do you normally start? Eastern time.
5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And in the chat, the replays, please watch it to classes you miss.
So Mohammed, I saw you for a second unmuted yourself.
Yes, hi, this is my first time joining you all. I'm so glad I did. I feel a connection with you all. Um, yeah, focus concentration wasn't as I was hoping, but managed to pick up a bit from you guys, and so glad I joined you guys, and you're all beautiful people. Beautiful people, yeah. Just yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fortune. We have a fortune today.
Hey, thank you very much for doing this, especially for doing it for free. I appreciate it a lot. This is very helpful, and I want to thank Tiona a lot too, because for me, I think one thing that we struggle with a lot is vulnerability, like being vulnerable, especially in a space like this where you've seen like strange faces, people you don't know, and being vulnerable in that space, it takes a lot. And so I appreciate it. And I think this, like a space like this, for me, as much as vulnerability is very like difficult, I think this is a safe space to actually be vulnerable, and I feel like that's how we learn, because the other day I was having a conversation with a friend, and same thing, they were finding it very difficult, being not like trying to be judged or something, and I told them, look, as human beings, we are broken people just walking around. Some of us are self-aware, others are some of us are self-aware, just in denial. Others are just not self-aware and walking around. So don't think if you feel like you need help in an area, you'll be judged or condemned or something. So I think this space here really embodies that, and I appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for your kind words. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sammy. Sammy and Mark.
Hi, thank you, Tiana, for sharing. My words are admiration and gratitude.
Thank you so much. Yeah, beautiful words. My word is community, and my word is see you guys tomorrow. If you are curious to learn more about the academy, please schedule a clarity call to so we can give you more individual attention and tell you more about us and our programs and next steps. Yeah, tomorrow is another beautiful day of us connecting, coaching, learning, and community. So thank you so much, and see you later, alligators. Bye, guys. Thank you.